Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. And guys, I've made a couple videos talking about some teams struggling to start the season. We're going to be a little bit more positive today. Guys, the Buffalo Sabres, who have had a rough, to say the least, offseason. Everything with Jack Eichel and the ownership and fans being frustrated with both of those sides. You know what cures that? Winning. And they're doing that right now. The Buffalo Sabres, I'm pinching myself as I say this, the Buffalo Sabres are 3-0 to start this season. Incredible, right? It really is. And the Buffalo Sabres are just finding ways to win hockey games. Their home opener, their season opener against the Montreal Canadiens, we know they're not that great, but Craig Anderson gets the start in this game up against Samuel Montembeault, and they made Montembeault look silly. They win this one 5-1, and you see Kyle Poso getting on the board. You're seeing some of the depth getting on the board for the Buffalo Sabres, and you're just seeing that confidence build, and that followed up into their second game. They maybe feasted on a Arizona Coyotes team. They win that one in a shootout, 2-1 over the Yotes. They go 2-0 to start the year. Dustin Tokarski gets the start, right? So you're seeing some probably AHL level goaltenders finding ways to win for the Sabres. Then they play the Vancouver Canucks. They made a couple big moves this offseason, trading a top 10 draft pick, bringing OEL, bringing in Garland, wanting to make the playoffs. And the Sabres beat them 5-2. They go 3-0 to start the season. Craig Anderson now has 2 wins to start the season. And the Buffalo Sabres are a whole undefeated team going into their Friday night matchup against their crosstown rivals, the Boston Bruins. So that's going to be a big game tonight. I'm really excited for that one. But the Buffalo Sabres, I think it's interesting to see, whatever happens the rest of the way. It doesn't really matter. The success they're having right now. I have to shout out a couple of guys. Zemgus Girgensons, 2 goals, 2 assists to start the year. He's got 4 points for the Buffalo Sabres. They've only played 3 games so far, ladies and gentlemen. And Girgensons has been really, really hot to start the year. Colin Miller, a really bad season last year. He's averaging over 21 minutes of ice time. He's got 3 assists on the year. Really nice to see that. And who would have thought some guys that were pretty much skeletons last season, Kyle Oposo and Jeff Skinner, they have multiple goals. Well, I think Oposo has 2 goals this year, and they were like snipes. They wasn't just like a deflection or some weird goal. No, like it was a full-on, both of them were snipes. One of them on the power play as well. Oposo, I loved him on the Islanders. He's having a great start to the year. Jeff Skinner gets on the board the other night. And then you're seeing some of the young guys on the blue line. What I talk about this summer, Rasmus Dahlin and Jacob Bryson, they're playing really well. They're both playing over 21 minutes of ice time to start this season with Colin Miller. And this isn't a great roster. There's not a ton of depth on this team, but they just have that little momentum and that little bit of spark right now. The expectations are so low that the fact they're 3-0 is kind of just surprising people to begin with. And obviously the story of Craig Anderson continues on, and that's just he could write a book for himself on what he's done in his NHL career in the past 5 years, not even talking about his entire career, the past 5 years alone. So the Buffalo Sabres, like I said, despite guys like Casey Middlestat not having a great start, Dylan Cousins maybe not having the best start, they're finding scoring from players, from whoever they can. And despite not having a franchise center in Jack Eichel in the lineup and just having him out, they're still finding ways to get it done. And that's when you have to give credit to the coaching staff, because they have just found a way to get the best out of what they have in Buffalo. Instead of just making excuses that they don't have the roster, they don't have the goaltending, they don't have the depth, they just find ways to win. And I think that's really a testament to what they have going in there. That shows great morale in the locker room, despite all the outside distractions, and good job by the leadership, not only in the room, but in management. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Adams, I think he does absolutely have something to do with keeping that coaching staff from last season and finding a way to make it work. And I think this is just the beginning of what we'll see from the Buffalo Sabres. You're seeing some guys come over that were pretty much exiled from their old team. Will Butcher, draft picks to take his contract on from the Devils. Robert Hagg taken on from the Philadelphia Flyers. Henry Jokiharju coming over from the Blackhawks. These are guys that were left for dead in their city. Mark Pysyk coming back to Buffalo. He was there in the 2010s, right? Nice to see him back there. So, it's unbelievable. And I think, like I said, it really is that coaching staff and the guys at the top just finding ways to win hockey games. And at the end of the day, I mean, we talk about the importance of goaltending. Dustin Tokarski and Craig Anderson have both been very good in their first 3 games of the year. With that said, is it sustainable? Now, going into the year, everybody was talking about they're going to be in the sweepstakes for Shane Wright, the first overall pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. But as of right now, the Sabres probably have all winter to think about that because I don't know how sustainable this is. Guys like Skinner, Oposo, excuse me, and Gergenson's scoring goals for you throughout the year. But with that said, you have to like what you've seen so far. And even if it gets butts in the seats in First Niagara Center, that's all that the Sabres could ask for this season. Just a little bit of optimism, a little bit of a distraction from everything that's happened this summer and everything that's happened for this organization for so long. Listen, we've seen these crazy stories before. When the Islanders lost John Tavares and they signed Robin Lehner and this team looked awful. Why are they signing Komarov to this big deal? This and that. They end up beating the Pittsburgh Penguins, sweeping them in the first round that very year. When they were not projected to win, only one reporter projected them to make the playoffs, and they end up winning the division. Now, I'm not saying the Sabres win the division necessarily, because you look at this, I mean, the conference alone, but the division alone is going to be extremely competitive. So the Sabres, listen, let's enjoy the story now. And let's see how it goes. Because, again, it is only 3 games into the year. And obviously you give yourself an opportunity getting on the right side of the 8 ball. If you drop a game here or there, it definitely gives you a little bit of leeway. And it definitely makes the season not feel like so drawn out and so long when you're finding maybe a little bit of confidence and success. And maybe come, December, January, things get a little slow in the dog days of the winter. They could say, let's remember that success we had. We can do this. They're going to have that little bit of swagger and confidence throughout this year from this little stretch. The question is, how long will it last? Will it last all season? Could it last into the playoffs? Does it take them to the Stanley Cup final? Maybe that's going a little bit far, 3 games into the year. But it is something we should definitely be thinking about. The Sabres, again, how legit are they? I'm not sold yet in 3 games. Give me Thanksgiving time, American Thanksgiving, the end of November, and we'll have a better idea of where the Sabres truly are. But as of right now, enjoy it while it lasts, right, Sabres fans? So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Buffalo Sabres to start their season? Do you think this is a flop, or do you think that the Sabres are for real this year? And if you would like to support the channel, make sure to check out our Patreon link and our Streamlabs shop in the description down below. You can pick up some Goal Line Hockey merch. We got coffee mugs, sweatshirts, t-shirts, backpacks, hats, all of that stuff down in the description down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you again next time.